Jackson Systems is your controls expert in the HVAC industry. With our top-notch technical support and customer service, we make life easier for you, the HVAC contractor. We offer free trainings on any product sold here at Jackson Systems, along with our Filter Fetch program, free thermostat imprinting, home and business automation with connected sensors, cameras, and even smart stats from Nest, Ecobee, Honeywell, White Rogers, Google, and more. Visit us at jacksonsystems.com to see the products that continue to win industry acclaim among contractors worldwide. Jackson Systems, controls done right.
Welcome to another episode of Israel HVAC Podcast with me, John Israel. Don't forget, you can download the podcast on Android using Podcast Addict. If you use Apple products, use the podcast app. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Israel HVAC Podcast. I'm John Israel. On this episode, I just want to talk about some changes that have happened recently in the podcast world. I'm going to give a kind of a brief overview of what happened. You know, most of you probably know the Cowboys of HVAC doesn't exist anymore. That was Zach's choice to shut that down. There was a lot of controversy over it, but I'm not going to get too in-depth about it. Basically, what it all boils down to is I was told by Zach that he didn't want to podcast with me anymore because of a situation that went down in one of the Facebook groups. I sold a tool to somebody, and I was very, 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 very late shipping it out. I mean, I want to stress that I was very, very late shipping it out. The guy put me on blast in the group. I don't blame him. I did get upset with the guy, but then again, me and the guy worked everything out. The tool's on the way. He should have it by now. And everything worked out. Well, Zach, I guess he thought I was scamming the guy. So he told me he didn't want to podcast with me anymore. And, pretty much everybody is done with me. Him, Ralph, his co-partner on the Workin' Joe podcast, which is now the HVAC Shop podcast. He's done with me. We had a group text. There was about 5 or 6 of us in a group text. We used to talk every day, and just talk and send pictures to each other of jobs that we were doing and stuff like that. They're all done with me, and it's fine. It's okay. I've even been accused. I was even accused by one of the guys in the group text that I raised all the money that I raised for my weight loss surgery, that I'm scamming people, and I will not be using it for that. But to make a long story short, I don't want to cause any trouble. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm concentrating on my YouTube videos is really what I want to concentrate on. I think I'm going to go ahead and continue to do the podcast. But here's the thing. I just want the truth to be out there. And basically, I just want everybody to know what I was told. Come to find out, though, the thing in Pro Talk between me and the guy, that's not the reason that Zach decided to quit podcasting with me. That was he used that as an excuse to get out of the podcast with me. It was like a way for him to come up with an excuse because he didn't have the nerve to just come out and tell me the truth. Basically, I found out the truth. Brian Orr, who I have a lot of respect for in the podcast world, but when I first started doing a podcast, he was the first HVAC podcast that I found. If you refer back to the very beginning of this podcast, the Israel HVAC podcast, I interviewed Zach Ciota in an interview, and then he called me on the phone after the interview and was like, a couple days later, and was like, dude, that was really fun. I actually don't really, he didn't say he wanted to stop his solo podcast. He never said that, but he said that he wanted us to join up together to do a podcast together because it was so much fun and we could cut loose and have fun. I told him it sounded like a great idea. You can you can refer back to I think it's the very first episode of the Cowboys of HVAC podcast. You'll actually hear Zach say those exact words, that he wanted to join with me because we could cut loose and have fun. Well, just like everything else, money got in the way. So here's the truth of why I was let go from the Cowboys of HVAC, and it's been shut down. And I knew this was the truth all along. When Zach and Ralph partnered up and they started, getting deeper and deeper into it, I kind of saw this coming. Let me rephrase that. It was in the back of my mind that Zach might not want to podcast with me anymore. I don't know. I was upset that it happened, but I'm okay. We had a good thing going, but it is what it is. So here's the truth. The truth is that Brian Orr started up this clique. I call it a clique. It's the blue collar something. And he has taken in, himself, his podcast. He's taken in Zach and Ralph's podcast. And now Brent Ridley and Billy Noth are teaming up to start a podcast, something about tools. I'm not really sure. And then I think Bill Spohn, the owner of True Tech Tools, is also starting up a podcast. And they're all part of Brian Orr's clique. And basically what it is that I wasn't good enough for the clique because I'm too rough around the edges. Okay. So here we go. I got a text message from the group. I'm not going to name any names in the group. There's a bunch of us in the group. And like I said, one of the guys did tell me that I was a fraud and accused me of raising the money for my weight loss surgery just because I needed money, not to actually use it for the surgery, which is complete BS. My surgery's already scheduled. It is scheduled for October the 9th. And to those of you that have donated to that, I cannot thank you enough. I mean, without y'all, it wouldn't be possible. So the surgery is scheduled for October the 9th. It's going to get done. I'm going to video the whole thing and put it on my YouTube channel, the whole process of me going to Mexico and everything. Should make for some good videos. But anyway, all right, so here we go. I wasn't good enough to be part of the clique. So I was so the Pro Talk thing got used as an excuse to pretty much say, hey, I don't want to podcast with you anymore. So I get a text message from one of the group members. Again, I'm not going to say any names. That says, okay, here's the truth. You're just too rough around the edges. You're always saying this and that, I cuss a lot and I am rough around the edges, but that's the kind of guy that I am. And I do this and I do that. I mean, just a whole list of things. And here we go. Here's what it all comes down to. He said, because I actually reached out to a sponsor and they said no because of his association with the Cowboys. So there's the truth. It's all about the money. See, I'm not good for business. I'm not good for money. This was supposed to all start out as fun. It was supposed to be fun. But now it's turned in to where it's all about the money. John's not good for money, so they have no use for me. And I'm fine with that, because I don't want to be friends or associated with people like that. Yes, I am very rough around the edges. You don't have to tell me. I've been like this my whole life. And I'm not going to change. See, I'm not going to be fake to please a sponsor. And that's exactly what's happening. Those two, Ralph and Zach, I've been friends with them for years. And, I hate to lose, I hate that all this has happened. I really do. I really, really do. Those two guys, we've been friends for about 5 or 6 years now. But, I've known these guys for years, and those voices that you hear on the podcast, I'm not going to say it's all a show. Yes, they are much more easygoing than I am. They're not quite as rough as I am. That's a fact. But they're not as goody-goody two-shoe as they make themselves out to be on the podcast either. But that's what they have to do to keep their sponsors happy, to keep the money flowing. So, and that's fine. Here's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to continue this podcast. I want to, because I do enjoy it. But then again, if I have to be fake to make somebody happy, then I don't want to have any part of it. I think there is room for my podcast and for my kind of podcast. Yes, I'm rough around the edges. I cuss. I like to have a good time and mess around. And if somebody wants to sponsor this podcast, that's great. I mean, that would be awesome. But I'm not going to be fake to make anybody happy, whether it's Zach, Ralph, Brian Orr, a sponsor, anybody. I'm not going to be a fake person to make you happy. I'm not going to sit here and just do this pretty little voice and say, yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, just to make you happy. Now, Sporlan was our biggest sponsor on the Cowboys. They knew how I was. Obviously, they didn't have a problem with my ways. But again, I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm not here to dog on anybody. I'm just sitting here telling you what I was told and why it has come to an end. I don't even want to be talking about this. Honestly, I'm sick and tired of talking about it. But people in the Facebook groups know what's going on, but a lot of people that follow me on YouTube don't really listen to the podcast. But this podcast will go on my YouTube channel. So that's the reason I'm doing this, is because a lot of people are asking, what happened? What happened? What happened? So that's the only reason I'm doing this, because honestly, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So guys, please don't take this as an asshole move or the way I'm saying this, but this is the last time I'm going to talk about it. I don't even want to be doing this and talking about it, but you guys, I think you guys do deserve an explanation of what's going on. And that's what's going on. Okay. I'm not here to dog on anybody or cause trouble. I'm through with them. With those guys, I don't associate with them anymore. I don't even speak to them anymore. It is what it is. I wish them nothing but the best. If that's the route that they want to take, that's fine. You're probably not going to see many YouTube videos from them anymore, because I think that the podcasting and the sponsorship of the podcasting is getting in the way of that. And you know what? That was one thing I was upset about. This was cutting in to my YouTube videos. My YouTube videos were stopping or coming to a halt because of this. And I didn't want that to happen. So I've got to, basically, I want to get back on track with my YouTube channel, because that's where it all started. And I think that's what people like to see. Now, people have also asked me to continue doing my podcast. I'd like to, I really would, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I can bring in some real technicians here, that work in the field. And talk to people. And, I would love to continue talking to tool manufacturers and stuff too, but I don't know how they feel about me now, because according to the, to the clique, I'm no good for that. And, they don't want to associate with me because of the way that I am, and that's fine. So we'll see what happens along the way. But, I don't know, I really don't know, what's going to happen. I'm still on the fence about the podcast. I love doing it. I really do. But I really don't know what's going to happen. So, but anyway, as far as the clique and the guys, this is the last, this is it, guys. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And again, please don't take that as me being an asshole, because I'm not. I just don't want to talk about it anymore. And I want to repeat again, because I know they're going to listen to this, and, they get hurt really easy. I ain't here to start no trouble or nothing like that. I'm just explaining to the people that follow me on my YouTube channel what happened and what is going on. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Because so many people have asked that are not in the Facebook groups. So that's, that's the text messages I got. And that is, so I'm telling you what I got through text message. Okay. That's it. Guys, this is John Israel from the Israel HVAC podcast and Israel HVAC on YouTube. Guys, I want to talk to you about Bacharach here for a second. I get the question all the time of, John, what's the best leak detector out there? Refrigerant leak detector. And I always give the same answer, the H10. the H10 Pro from Bacharach. You know, guys, I've been using the H10G, which is the 110 volt plug-in one, probably for the past 4 or 5 years. It's been the best leak detector that I have ever had. Nothing compares to the H10 from Bacharach. I also now have the new Bacharach H10 Pro leak detector, which is just as good. If you're in the market for a leak detector, or combustion analyzers, recovery machines, and many, many more great HVAC products, check out Bacharach at Bacharach.com. All right, so and one other thing I want to talk about on this episode is a lot of people have said, I don't know what, Sporlan, as far as I know, me and Sporlan are okay. I don't know. I still have the Zoom lock, and that's what I want to talk about right now. I know we've talked about the Zoom lock in the past, but a lot of people have commented and said, John, now that the Cowboys are over and you don't have any reason to lie, tell us what you really feel about the Zoom lock. Okay, I'll do that. Guys, I feel no different about the Zoom lock than I did before. I still love it. I love the Zoom lock. I still think it's a great tool. I still have it on the truck. I have Ari Michael stocking my fittings now. Ari Michael here is stocking everything for me. 90s, couplings, reducing fittings, everything that I need. And they'll start stocking the 45s as soon as those are available. I still feel the same way about the Zoom lock as I did, not long ago. And believe me, I have, a lot of you guys didn't believe me when I told y'all that. I don't care that they're sponsoring me. If I don't like a tool that they've provided me with, I will tell you the truth. And of course, people said, no, you won't. You're not going to tell the truth because you're sponsored and they pay you. So you're going to say nothing but nice things about it. Well, here we go. I'm not part of the Cowboys anymore. I'm not part of HVAC Shop Talk. I'm not part of none of that anymore. I have no money coming in from sponsors right now. Okay? Now, well, actually, I take that back. I'm going to go ahead, you heard the Jackson Systems commercial at the beginning of this podcast, and that's because Tom has paid me for the month of September. And you also are going to hear a Bacharach ad, and that's because Bacharach has paid me for this month. So I'm going to continue to run those ads for Jackson Systems and Bacharach through the month of September unless they decide, they paid for it. So I'm going to do it. Now, will they continue to sponsor me? I don't know. I don't know if Tom Jackson will because I know he's really tight with the click. So, but I'll discuss that with him. I think Bacharach will continue to because they don't really have anything to do with those guys. I'm the one that approached Bacharach myself. They're not tied up with the click at all. And again, I use the click because I don't want to. I don't want to say any names because I feel like if I say names, they're gonna, it's gonna start all kind of stuff. But that's what I call them because that's what they are. They're a click. So Bacharach is not tied up with the click that I'm aware of. I'm the one that approached them, and they came and paid me to advertise for them here on this podcast. But anyway, getting back to the Zoom lock, I feel the same way about the Zoom lock as I did when I first got it and through the couple months or 3 months that I've had it. I still love it. I still think it's a great tool. Sporlan, I still think they're a great company. They're great people. I'm not going to stop using the Zoom lock. I still, the Zoom lock, regardless of what you guys think, the Zoom lock is a fantastic tool. It really is. So, that's my honest to God opinion about the Zoom lock. It's a great tool, and I really, really like it. I used it the other day. After all this went down, I still love the tool. I have no reason to lie about that, and I'm not going to lie about it. So that is my honest opinion of the Zoom lock. So anyway, guys, I think that's about all I got for y'all on this episode of the podcast. I really would like to continue this. I'm going to be in talks with Tom Jackson to see if he still wants to associate with me. If he doesn't, that's fine. I hope that he will, though. And I'm going to be in talks with my Bacharach rep and, see what he wants to do. And then we'll go. I mean, even if I don't have a sponsor, hey, that's fine. I'd love to have them, but I don't have to. I may still continue to do this just because I have fun doing it. I enjoy it. So, And I want to hear some feedback from you guys. If you guys are listening to this via iTunes or Android, go over to my YouTube channel and leave a comment on this podcast. So that way I can get your feedback if you guys would like the podcast to continue. So with that being said, guys, thank y'all for listening. Thanks for the support on YouTube. I've had a lot of great support from a lot of great guys after all this stuff went down with the click. And, I really do appreciate that. And I just want to assure everybody that no matter what that guy from the click said, if you donated money to me for my weight loss surgery, I am so grateful for that. I don't even know what to say. And I can assure you that's what it's getting used for. I'm usually not bothered by comments and stuff like that, but that one hurt. That one did hurt to think that I would actually, take thousands of dollars and say that I'm using it for weight loss surgery and raise it to just have it to get. But you know what? That's fine. If that particular individual wants to accuse me of that, that's fine. Because it's going to happen, and I'm very excited for it to happen. I mean, I can't wait. I'm chomping at the bit for October the 9th to get here. It's going to be a life-changing thing. My life is going to change for the better, and I'm very, very excited. And I will be doing video of the whole process. So you guys will have your proof, and so will he. But, all right, guys, thank you for listening to this episode of the Israelhvac podcast. Don't forget to please go to the YouTube channel. Tell me what you think. If you guys don't want this podcast to happen, then there's no reason for me to do it. And that's the bottom line. I do it for you guys, and I do it because I do enjoy it. But if you guys don't want it, then I don't need to do it. But the only way that I know that you guys can comment is if you go on my YouTube channel and leave a comment under it. I'd love to hear what you think. If you want me to continue to do it, I'd love to continue to do it because I do have fun with it. So with that being said, again, thank y'all for the support, and thank you for listening to this episode of Israelhvac podcast.
Meet Zoomlock, the 10-second flame-free refrigerant fitting from Parker. Reduce labor costs by 60% with no brazing, no flame, and no fire spotter. Discover how Zoomlock can help you be more efficient and productive. Visit Zoomlock.com for more information.